Big Blue, bringing you the best in New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. I was thinking today, the roster is, of course, never set. And it's never set until the last game of the preseason, the final cutdowns, and once everyone else has their final cutdowns and whoever else we turn around and sign from anyone else's roster, that's when the roster is finally set. But I was thinking to myself today, there is situations on the roster now where there are open spots, and there are, in my mind, 3 New York football Giants that potentially are not being talked about to fill these spots, but can be underneath the radar players that can potentially have a large impact with the New York Giants in the 2020 season. One of these players, and we're going to go through 3 of them, one of these players is going to be my buddy. Just kidding, he's not my buddy, I don't even know him. His name, of course, is Grant Haley. 5'9", 191 pounds, out of Penn State, 24 years old. Undrafted free agent. Signed as a free agent, rookie free agent with the Giants in May 10th of 18. He was waived by the Giants on September 1st. He was signed back to the practice squad September 2nd and then signed to the active roster on October 16th. He has played a total of 25 games for the Giants in the last 2 seasons. He has started 12. He has 76 tackles, 65 solo, 1 sack, and 2 pass defenses. Grant is an interesting player in my mind. He came out of Penn State and he was kind of, I would say, maybe a diamond in the rough. He had not a great collegiate career, but he had a more than respectable career. He played in 49 games with the Nittany Lions, started 36, finished with 139 tackles, 89 solos, 5 interceptions, 23 pass defenses, 2 sacks, and 6.5 tackles for loss. He was elected the captain as a senior in 2017. He was an honorable mention, all Big Ten by the media and coaches, and he was a semifinalist, of course, for the Jim Thorpe Award. So all that being said, Grant to me is a guy that you got to know what to do with him. And that's really where the situation lies. It's going to be a tall order, I think. I thought it was going to be a tall order for him to make the roster, but I think with everything going on with DeAndre Baker, he might have more of an opportunity not only to make the roster, but have an impact. His first 2 seasons, he actually played in 39% of the team's defensive snaps, and he showed flashes in the slot corner position. Now, his rookie season was better than his second year. His rookie season, the league, well, I shouldn't say it's that great. The league completed 63% of the passes against him thrown his way, and he actually played a pretty respectable nickel corner. But last year, quarterbacks kind of really exposed him, and they completed an astronomical 82% of the passes when targeting him. Now, Grant's biggest strength is in the run game. He has totals of 43 tackles. 36 of them are solo in the last 2 seasons. Now, his ability, of course, is always going to be the issue to defend the pass. But I was thinking about this today. We, of course, drafted Holmes. Holmes is probably going to fall more into the nickel corner position or slot corner position. And I think they're already talking about moving Julian Love back out of the safety position, back into the corner position, which they are probably going to need to do to add depth because of the whole DeAndre Baker fiasco. So in my mind, that potentially opens up the shot for Grant Haley to play a quasi-strong safety linebacker role. Now, people are going to think I'm crazy about this, but if you think about it, yeah, he is a little on the small side. He would be on the small side, even for in the corner. He's in the small side, but only 5'9", 191 pounds. But if you think of Buchanan, who they brought in last year to kind of play that role, he didn't really fit the role. He didn't really help the team. But Haley, like I said, is a extremely strong run defender. And I think if we keep him positionally in the right areas, he can truly play the run. And I think with the proper defensive coaching, I think we can help him in his pass coverage as well. And like I said, he was actually respectable as a nickel corner in his rookie year. It was just last year that the defense is... And I also think a lot of the things with the defense last year was he was exposed because of a total lack of a pass rush. I think a lot of our corners were exposed because of not having any type of pass rush. So I'm thinking that Grant, given the opportunity, can fit in possibly in a slot corner position, a nickel corner position, and like I said, even a quasi-safety role. We'll call him a quasi-safety corner role because he can support the run. He can tackle. He is a sure tackler. He puts his head down and he's going to make the stop. So while earlier in the month, I thought it was going to be more of an uphill battle for him to make the roster, I think with this whole DeAndre Baker fiasco, I think he's going to have a much better opportunity to not only make the roster, but make an impact on the roster, on the defense, in the defensive backfield. Now, another player that I wanted to talk about, we're going to go roll over in the offense. And this is another guy that's kind of under the radar because of the fact that he just seemed to fall off the earth. And that's going to be our old buddy Wayne Gallman Jr. Wayne, of course, came to us in 2017 via Clemson, the draft. He had a pretty respectable year that rookie season. He had 476 yards on 111 carries. He had yards per carry 4.3. He had, like I said, he as a rookie, he played well when he needed to, and he needed to come in. Now, he split time with Norlins Darkwa. If people seem to forget, New Orleans kind of fell off the face of the earth after the injury, and they never really latched on with anyone. But he, like I said, Gallman showed flash. Gallman showed promise. We were looking for a big 18 for him. But, what happened? Some guy, number 26, was drafted. I don't know, starts with a B. Barkley came in. Had the rookie season that Barkley had, and Gallman only touched the ball 51 times. But he still had 175 yards, respectable 3.5 yards carry. And then what we thought this year coming in 19, that he was going to make a difference spelling our old buddy, Saquon Barkley. We figured he was going to help spell him a little bit and have more of an impact. And honestly, after the first 3 weeks in the season, he carried the ball a grand total of 7 times. And it wasn't until, of course, Barkley went down to the Tampa game that he really, he really got to shine in the Washington game. 18 carries, 63 yards, 3.5 yards a carry. He had 1 touchdown receiving and 1 touchdown rushing. So we thought it was going to be a huge breakout game from him. I am not going to lie. I had him on my fantasy team for that weekend, and I picked up all the points and helped me to the championship. But then what happened is the wheels just fell off the bus again. I mean, he got hurt in the Minnesota game, and we really didn't see him carry the ball much, until week 9, and then after 9 and 10, he didn't touch the ball at all. So the question is going to be, can he make some type of career resurrection? Because this is going to be it for him. I think he's a bubble guy. But then I was thinking about this for a minute. Okay, we got Mr. Barkley, we got Lewis, and we got Gallman, and we got a bunch of stiffs. I shouldn't call them stiffs, that's not polite. But we got a bunch of guys that probably won't be on the roster. So, as a change of pace back to Barkley, Lewis is going to come in. He's going to catch the ball. But my fear is we've gone through this before with former Patriot running backs. They play well for a little while, and then they just kind of crash. So I'm going to have a feeling that Gallman may get his opportunities, backing up Lewis and Barkley. And I think that if the coaching staff, I think he went into Shermer's doghouse, to be perfectly honest, after his rookie season. I really do think it, because if you take a look at the way he was treated by Shermer, it looks like he didn't want him. It's one of those things, again, that I didn't draft this guy, I don't want this guy. And I kind of think that's what Shermer's mentality was with Gallman. And for 2 years, I think he's been rotting on the bench. But he has the ability. And I think that giving the opportunity, he may only get 150 carries, but I think he can play well within those 150 carries, spell the team, and move forward and help the Giants. And, and I really feel that because I see something in Gallman, and I'm curious to see how he is going to excel. And I think this is honestly his last opportunity. The last player that I want to speak about in reference to being kind of an under-the-radar type guy is going to be RJ McIntosh. Oh, RJ. We took him, of course, in the 5th round, 139th overall in 2018 out of Miami. He kind of screwed himself, Mr. McIntosh, by leaving Miami. His whole thing was he was going to leave Miami early, and yeah, he was taken in the 5th round, but I think he's one of those guys that could have used another year in college. I mean, his final 2 seasons at Miami, he compiled really kind of impressive 22 tackles for losses and 5.5 sacks. He's got a really quick first step, which can be highly disruptive, but he's kind of undersized. I mean, he plays the interior, but I think at his size, we can move him to the outside. I mean, he's 6'4", 283 pounds. As an interior lineman, and like I said, he's listed as a defensive lineman, he's undersized. But like I said, with that explosive first step, he's got an advantage against going against other interior offensive linemen. The problem is you need to find a position for him. And I don't mean a position for him as a linebacker, left linebacker. I mean a position for him on the field. You need to rotate him in certain areas to create mismatches on the defense. And I may be putting a lot of faith in Patrick, but I think he can do that with Mr. McIntosh. And I think with Mr. McIntosh, if he is allowed to move around, like I said, he had 2 sacks last year. He had 1 early in the season, 1 towards later, and he didn't really play a lot his rookie year. But I think if he is placed in the correct position and the correct defense, that he can maybe get 5.5, 6 sacks for the Giants. And that's not a big jump from the 2 sacks he had last year. But again, I believe it's all going to be positioning, because if you're going to call him a defensive interior lineman or defensive lineman, he's going to have to be I think that he is going to excel more in the position of playing as a pass rusher in the interior lineman than he's going to on the outside. It's not that I don't think he can't play the outside position. I just think he is going to create more of a mismatch if he's playing in the interior of the line. Now, the only problem is, of course, in the interior, we have Leonard Williams, B.J. Hill, Dalvin Tomlinson, and then we also pick up Austin Johnson. But like I said, I really think he can hold his own. I really do. If you think about it, I mean, if the Giants go more towards an Eagles defense from like their Super Bowl season, where they just rotate in defensive linemen, we can create a pass rush from the defensive line position. Rotate in the fresh bodies, create the mismatch, and kind of go from there. And I think RJ McIntosh will excel in that. And again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And I think you already know, if you want to, you can follow us on Twitter at Online Big Blue 1, or you can give us a shout, send us an email at onlinebigbblue@gmail.com. But again, this is Tim with Online Big Blue, bringing you the best of New York Giants sports talk and entertainment. And as always, if you can if you can subscribe, if you could ring that bell, I think you know what that means. That'd be awesome.